They've always operated on who earned it last year. That's who gets the ball opening day. Zack Littell deserves to be the opening day starter for 2025.
But I'm with you. I like the idea. Why not? Reward this guy and maybe put some pressure on like a Shane McClanahan, for example, of, hey, just because you got to be available, you got to be ready to perform. And some of the young guys too, of this is what you can work towards.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we are here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season up till now, we can officially say it, the Rays have gone to the playoffs, but there's still Rays baseball remaining. So grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
This episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. I'd like to see what apps Stu Sternberg has on his phone.
Probably a lot of financial apps, stock apps, and so on and so forth. Right. Sure, he has the ballpark app as well. Well, maybe not, because he probably doesn't need it. But well, the Rays, they teased us. They teased us because they swept the Blue Jays over the weekend and then laid a dud, and I mean a dud, in this 3-game series against the Tigers. I guess having a day off, they just totally gave up as they got swept by Detroit in Detroit. Officially, it is official now. The Rays will not be in the postseason in 2024 for the first time in a long time. Since 2018, that's happened.
Yeah, not great that the team has lost its streak of playoff years. We've lost our streak as well with, like we said at the top, every season that we had covered the team, they've gone to the playoffs. That streak has gone too. And the next streak that is very, very viable to lose, it's the 500 or better, which hasn't happened since 2017. And it's a shame because it was something kind of to be proud of. It was something to be proud of. You know, you're in the AL East, you're going against teams that are spending $200-300 million and
right.
And you're not, and you're just being smart, and you're having really good performances from your players that maybe some other people don't believe in, and it really does suck. But I know you're saying it facetiously that they teased us because we knew that they were done so a month and a half ago, but
yes. Yeah, after the trade deadline, it was, there's no way in hell this team is going to the dance.
And I feel like, I don't know if you've tracked it like me, but in social media, the first thing was like, hey, it's okay to be 500 for a little bit. And then it became apparent that this team really didn't have that second gear. So then some people that are always positive are like, it's still good. Gosh, why are you guys being so negative? It's still fine. And now they're like, hey, let's tank so we have a better draft pick. It's like, wait, what? Can you not do this?
But it's okay to be 500 at September 20th. There's still time to go on a run of 10-0 and make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. So no, I do having said all of that, I want to pay attention to two players.
Okay.
Zack Littell and Richie Palacios.
Okay.
Honestly, I think they have a very tough gig, both of them. Number one, with Zack Littell, you're giving this guy a change in role from middle reliever to starter in the same season, and then he responds the next season, just like Drew Rasmussen did, just like Jeffrey Springs does. That's not an easy thing to do, and Zack Littell did it. And honestly, we've said it before. I think he is the best starter for the Rays this year. You wouldn't have ever thought to say that in spring training, but it is. He was the best pitcher, their starter. I mean, we can have that argument, but this is the first time, or maybe second time. I think I said it before, last week or this week. But I'll make it known this is the first time that I'm going to be saying this. But I'm going to be repeating it very much throughout the offseason, Kevin. Zack Littell deserves to be the opening day starter for 2025. The Rays have never operated in a seniority, or you have the bigger name, so you get the ball. They've always operated on who earned it last year. That's who gets the ball opening day. Zack Littell deserves to be the opening day starter for 2025.
He's not the best. He's not the most talented, but he's a workhorse, and he's been reliable. And I know he didn't have his best outing this week against the Tigers, but he entered this series on a 20-inning scoreless streak. That is really, really impressive and remarkable. And then he gets in against the Tigers and allows 2 runs in the first. I think it was just a case of letting his pitches hit too much of the plate, and some guys capitalized on it, unfortunately. But and it tells you where the Rays are at this year, because you look at his numbers, you look at his innings pitched, 141 strikeouts, 1.25 ERA, 3.63 or 1.25 WHIP, 3.63 ERA, and most innings on the team. And still this is why we don't pay attention to win-loss records, 8-10.
Exactly.
If he was on a competent, half-decent, a team that wasn't mid, I would imagine he would have a positive win-loss number. But I'm with you. I like the idea. Why not? Reward this guy and maybe put some pressure on like a Shane McClanahan, for example, of, hey, just because you got to be available, you got to be ready to perform. And some of the young guys too, of this is what you can work towards eventually. So I'm guessing that in your mind, there is absolutely no doubt that Zack Littell returns in 2025, that the Rays aren't going to, well, one, they will pick up the arbitration number, but 2, they won't try to quote unquote sell high on him in the offseason.
I think look, we all know that the rotation is going to be nasty, and there's a lot of good stuff coming back from injury, but let's focus on that last word, injury. They're coming back from it. And so we've talked about endlessly how we think it's ridiculous when people in the offseason put 5 starters up and go like, this is the best rotation of baseball. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, the best rotation in baseball is the one that is like 9 deep. That's the best rotation in baseball. And so I think it would be very silly for the Rays to sell high on a guy when you need those innings. Nobody's gonna who's gonna throw 160 innings next year, like that you can put your hand on the fire. Like Tosh Bradley, you know that. Shane Boss, you know that. McClanahan ain't doing that. So Pepio, he's shown that he can get hurt. Like I feel like Zack Littell has that rubber arm quality about him that you really need.
And I think maybe part of it too is that, well, he's a bigger, bulkier guy, but it's not like he's throwing 98, 99 out of his shoes every time. So he has some finesse and workability to his game, which is really nice. But yeah, it was an unfortunate series, of course. We talked about what happened on Tuesday, no offense. Wednesday, no offense. Man, a lot of games where you just score 1 run. That is not going to cut it. Then on Thursday, that might be the most frustrating, because the Rays were up 3-0 into the 5th, and they had a lead after that most of the game, and they wind up losing 4-3. Like that's just what we're dealing with at this point. But there is still something to play for. And you mentioned it, Ulises, getting to 500. That is still in the cards. That's what we're rooting for as of right now. And then if the Rays lose their first 2 games against the Red Sox, what we're going to be playing for is let's just get to 80 wins. That's what we've been relegated to at this point, unfortunately. So we have more to discuss, but first we have to tell the audience something very important, and that is Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual like you with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. That's what we like, right? These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. I'll repeat it again because it's such a good offer. Robinhood.com/gold.
We've just coming from a hurricane, by the way. I hope everybody's okay and safe in Florida. And if you want your back to be safe, you got to check out The Joint. I know that next week I'm going there and I'm getting those bones cracked. And I'll tell you this, 90% of elite athletes, including NFL pros, rely on chiropractic care to stay at the top of their game and perform at their best. So you know what? You might not be an NFL pro. You might be somebody that needs to take calls and write emails and do Excel spreadsheets. Guess what? Your back needs love too. So get that cracked at The Joint. It'll feel so good. You got to do something good for your body. And guess what? It's good for your wallet too. Because as a Bucks fan, you can get your first visit for $19. Head over to Buccaneers.com. Check out the contest and promotions section under the fans tab. Download that offer. Then head to thejoint.com, find the nearest Tampa area location, and get that great deal as a Bucks fan. Okay, so today, go to thejoint.com, find the nearest Tampa location, do something good for yourself today.
We also want to tell you to make the switch to Locked On Sports Today. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on the YouTubes or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So final regular season series of 2024 for your Tampa Bay Rays, going up to Boston to face the Red Sox, who are 80-79. The Rays, of course, 78-81. So what we have to play for is 1, getting to 500, 2, finishing above the Red Sox, and I guess 3rd place in the AL East. And that's where we're at this point.
It's sweep or sweep.
Yeah.
It's sweep if you want to not be in the negative. It's sweep if you can tie the record for most times being 500 in a season. It's sweep season if you don't want to have the Boston Red Sox above you in the standings. Now, I know that you're a betting man.
Yes.
With your green Skittles. If you had unlimited green Skittles, would you even put 10 of those green Skittles that this is going to happen?
That they're going to sweep the Red Sox outright?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put 10. I might put 1.
Okay.
I'm not very confident of the Rays sweeping much of anything. I know they did it last weekend against Toronto, but that was at home. Red Sox on the road, colder environment. I don't like the Rays' chances. Also having to travel cross country from Detroit, and maybe just the mentality of making sure that, hey, how are friends and family through this hurricane? Yeah. I think there's going to be some distractions, unfortunately, for the Rays. Having said that, believe it or not, while the Red Sox, I believe, are a better, more complete team than the Rays at this juncture. They haven't been a good home team. They are actually 37-41 at home this year, while they're 43-38 away, which surprises me because I think I would have thought that they would have been a much better team at Fenway Park. I guess maybe some of that has to do with some of the opponents that have come into town and riled things up a little bit. But as far as, I usually go back to the pitching matchup. So we have Bradley versus Pivetta, Boz versus Crawford, and Pepio versus TBD. But really, that doesn't matter because the question is, can the Rays score? And I don't know if they can score enough to win 3 straight games. And if they get a little bit of a lead, I don't think they can score enough on top of that to hold it. Like the Tigers series is just representative of this season, more or less.
Yeah. And, there's something, the Pythagorean expected win-loss. This season, we've said how it has dragged and it has felt just plain awful. If you
it
look
doesn't feel like 6 months. It doesn't feel like a 6-month season. It feels like a 10-month season.
It feels very long for 2024. And that expected win-loss record, when you look at what the Rays have done so far, their actual record is 78-81. The expected win-loss record shows 72-87. That's what this season feels like. That's exactly what this season feels like.
Yeah.
And it's been tough, but you said 3 cool things that'll happen this weekend. 3 young studs that are hopefully going to be in the rotation for the next half decade. Hopefully.
Yeah.
In Bradley, Boz, and Pepio making those 3 starts. So if you're a Rays fan and you're kind of down, hey man, we didn't do it this year, that's okay. You get 3 more games against actual rivals that we do not like, and you get to see the future that is already kind of established in those 3 guys. So that should be fun.
Yeah. This is going to be an extremely cheeky comment here, but you mentioned green Skittles. I will ask you, would you put green Skittles on Taylor Walls finishing the season with a batting average of 190 or higher? Right now, he is at 187. And for what it's worth, the team and him have claimed that he has a new approach. He's making shorter, leveler swings. He's trying to focus on hitting the ball earlier in counts and hit more line drives and grounders versus the weak pop-ups we're so used to seeing. And over his last 15 games, he has a 250 batting average. So can he keep this quasi-hot streak going and bump that puppy up to 190, which would still be one of the worst in all of baseball? I'm not even going to touch the OPS. Heck, I'll say, okay, 190 batting average and 540 OPS. He has a 538 OPS right now.
So 187 right now he's hitting?
187.
And the question is, will he bump that up 4 more points?
3 more points, just to get to 190.
Oh, just to get to 190, not overpass.
No, just 190.
Let's assume that he's going to get at least 2 starts this weekend. So that's 8 at-bats. Can he hit more than 2 hits in 8 at-bats? You know what? I need time to process this.
Okay.
Because I've got feelings. Just like I have feelings about Booking.com. Which, by the way, this episode is brought to you by Booking.com, which is Booking.yeah. Guys, we've told you about Booking.com, baseball rival cities. Kevin loves Boston. Kevin loves Cincinnati. We need that 3rd city that you've traveled to this year, Kevin. Who is that last city in the podium?
I'll give him some love. Kansas City, because I'd never seen it before.
Kansas City, and a surprise 2024 season for them. Will they be in the playoffs? They're sneaking in, so that should be fun.
Quatraro, the fighting Matt Quatraros.
There you go. Q back in the game. Well, guess what? You can go to Kansas City. Maybe they have a bed and breakfast very close to the stadium. You can also see Patrick Mahomes if you're there, and that should be fun, like a double day of baseball and football. So guess what? Go to booking.com. They'll help you get the best stay in Kansas City and in any other U.S. baseball rival city. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rival. So today, go to booking.com, download the app, booking.com, yeah.
We also want to tell you something else very important, and that is Prize Picks. As you should know, Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike some of the other apps out there, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Here's what Prize Picks does. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. They also invented Flex Play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. So that's a cool feature that you really should leverage on Prize Picks. So don't waste any more time. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Dude, so looking up at Taylor Walls' career plate appearances, he's got 1,239 plate appearances.
Yes.
And the fact that he's hit in the last 40 at-bats, 250. Hey, good for you, Taylor. I'm going to believe in the 1,200 plate appearances more than the 40 last at-bats. So, yeah, I'm going to go. He's not going to hit 190.
Oh, you have little
I don't
faith.
Believe so. Yeah, a little.
He's trying for that arbitration number. He's arbitration eligible in 2025. And based on the Wander situation, based on the fact that Carson Williams isn't ready, based on the fact they're probably not going to go and trade for Bo Bichette, Walls is coming back in 2025.
I want nothing but the best for Taylor Walls. I hope that man has a 10-year career, gets his pension, gets to have generational wealth for him and his family. Love that for him, and I want that to happen for him. I want that to start happening not in a Rays uniform.
You want it in Oakland or something like that.
I want it somewhere, though, bleep else.
Yeah.
I want the best things for Taylor Walls, not in a Rays uniform.
Oh, well.
I've seen enough. We have all seen enough. The glove, hey, amazing glove. The walk percentage, the eye, the discipline, incredible. The speed around the bases, the knowledge of how you run your bases, fantastic. But this is a team that cannot afford a 530 OPS guy. We have way too many of those.
Yes. So what I'm hearing is that you're not buying into this change of Taylor Walls and that he's turned a corner.
And I think it's kind of, what's the word here? I was going to say like cheap marketing for a player.
So Topkin wrote this article out of, hey, I can't write about the Rays playoff run. There's nothing else to write about. So, well, let me look at some of the stat numbers, the booklet here. Oh, Taylor Walls has looked, better in his last handful of games. Something's got to change, right?
Yeah. Tell me that on a guy that has like 300. Tell me that. Do that article for Jonathan Aranda.
Okay.
I'll believe that. For a Curtis Mead, for like somebody like that. For a guy that has 1,239 plate appearances in the major leagues, I'm not gonna like eat it up and be like, oh my gosh, he's changed his approach. Oh my gosh, what could Taylor Walls do now? Oh, can we have a 2025 where Taylor Walls is going to be a 750 OPS guy with a 260 average? I'm not doing that, and I think it's if anybody else is doing that, I don't think so. I think the social media Rays Nation was pretty much on par with this take. But you never know.
So you would, in order to buy what the Rays and Top Gun are selling, you would need to see like at least a half season or a full season of Taylor Walls hitting what he's shown his last 15 games. You need 150 games of this.
Well, we know that Taylor Walls can be really, really good, and he can be an all-star caliber player for a month. He showed it in 2023 in April. Yeah, we know that. We have seen that already. So we would need to see that version of Taylor Walls at least for a whole year. And even so, you know what I would say? I'd be like, yeah, it was his career year. We're never.
Everybody has their career year.
Yeah.
Some are better than others.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up for a little fodder there. Yeah, so I don't know. I have a strong suspicion that he's going to be on a Rays roster in 2025. That'll be an off-season question.
Yeah.
But we have important matters to discuss, and that is baseball trivia. Name that war. Ulises, I have baseball trivia for you. And my question is this. It is tied and timely to the Red Sox. In front of me, I have a list of games played leaders all time in a Red Sox uniform. So most games played in a Red Sox uniform. I want 4 names.
Teddy Ballgame.
Teddy Ballgame, a.k.a. Ted Williams. He is number 3 on this list with 2292.
Carl Yastrzemski.
He is the clubhouse leader with 3308.
Carlton, no, scratch that. David Ortiz.
Number 5 on this list with 1953. Need one more name.
Dustin Pedroia.
Strike 1, injured. Wasn't tall enough. His games counted as like 3/4.
You need to be this high.
Yeah, to ride the ride. To make this category.
Good question. Let's see. What's a Red Sox that...
God, I would love a Dustin Pedroia on the Rays roster in 2025.
That would be like, I never even finished Richie Palacios, bro. Like, he's just, man, I just like the way that he goes after it.
No, I think he's going to be he's going to be a solid piece.
Yeah, he's going to be solid. No Dustin Pedroia, but he's solid.
No.
Okay. Noma, definitely not, because he wasn't there enough. Manny wasn't there enough. Johnny Damon wasn't there enough because he moved after the 2000 season. And then he signed with the Yankees in what? 06, 07? No, he won in 07 with them, right? I forget. Johnny Damon.
Strike 2. Bounced around.
This is Jason Varitek.
You are correct. Number 10 on this list with 1546. Very good. So the list is Yastrzemski, Dwight Evans, Ted Williams, Jim Rice, David Ortiz, Bobby Doerr, Harry Hooper, former Ray / Devil Ray, I guess. Wade Boggs was 1625, Rico Petrocelli, and then Jason Varitek. That is the list.
Okay, I got the ones I needed to get. And now it's up to you to get the name I have on my screen, which is Name That War. Name That War, that's the game we play. It's when we take a player from the past, and using only our baseball archive mind, we try to guess that player's career war, according to Baseball Reference. And today, that player is Boston legend Shane Victorino. What is Shane Victorino's career war according to Baseball Reference? I'm being cheeky on the Red Sox legend thing.
Yeah. I don't think he played for the Red Sox that long. I know more as a Phillies player. Flying Hawaiian, switch hitter, center fielder, I believe. Definitely played at least 10 years in the bigs. I'm thinking a line of like 275, 15 to 18 homers, and 25 to 30 stolen bases. Probably was like a 1 or 2 time All-Star. Bottle all that up And I'm going to say his career WAR was 28.
Very good. You nailed the batting average at 275. His on base was 425. 340 and 425 were his on base and slugging. An OPS of 765. OPS plus of 102. 108 homers. 231 stolen bases. 2-time All-Star. 4-time Gold Glover. And 2-time World Series champion. Has a WAR of 31.5.
Right.
So very close there, Kev. Very close.
I'm not mad about that. I was pretty close on the numbers, about as close as I could be.
Yeah.
So there we go. All right. Hope you all enjoyed the episode.
Yes.
See what happens after this weekend. If the Rays can get back to .500 remains to be seen. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe through the hurricane, and we'll talk to you next week.